Steam is my boy, dog. Probably gonna be homies forever. Doing God's work out here. Going to war with all these corporations that we very much dislike. Very disappointed in these companies. They used to make great games sometimes. Now they drop a great game like every 4 or 5 years. And it takes 7 years to make them. The math don't add up. Something ain't mathin'. But now, Steam is going to war with Activision Blizzard. My boy, Endymion. Let's see what he's got to say about it. Making content together.
Every single year, video game companies try to find new and devious ways to ensure they can nickel and dime their customers for more and more money in creative and oftentimes baffling ways. This all sort of started because Bethesda decided to charge money for horse armor one time, and since then, many other video games have become.
Everybody thinks that's where it all started. It's not true. It actually started with online MMOs and arcade games. There were arcade games where you'd pay money, you'd put money in, you would get in-game currency, microtransactions. Isn't there a game called like Periscope, something like that, that did that? Or am I getting it confused? I do know that was a thing.
Let's be real, online casinos pretty much. At this point, buying into most games, especially from the largest franchises like Call of Duty or Fortnite, often comes with the expectation that if you want the most out of your experience.
Honestly, all of this is because of the success and failure of arcade games. Game companies used to make so much money off of arcade games. Then they realized, hey wait, we're not making the money off the quarters these companies are. We're not making any monies off the quarters that these arcade stores, arcade game companies are charging. How do we fix this? Ooh, I know. Arcade games at home, where we charge people at home. They don't even have to go to the arcade store, and we get all the money. We're geniuses!
Now, you'll need to keep your wallet open at all times. And not only is this mentality killing creativity in the industry, it's causing what I can only call predatory behavior on the behalf of modern game companies. Thankfully, at least one company is trying to push back against this tsunami of monetization, which is Steam. Let me get you all up to speed. We all know what Call of Duty is. The latest game in the franchise is Black Ops 6, which is also considered to be the fastest selling Call of Duty yet in the entire franchise, if you can believe it. The fact we got 6 of these games is kind of insane. Call of Duty is now entering number digits in the
Well, technically we got 7. World at War was the first one.
way Final Fantasy games chronicle theirs. That's crazy, dude. But anyway, and Black Ops 6 is also a fully priced game that a lot of people bought, and it made tons of money and features a full campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and integration with Warzone like other games like it.
People still play Call of Duty? I don't know anybody who still plays Call of Duty. Are you sure their numbers aren't inflated? Are you sure it's not just half bots?
Look, I don't need to tell you that Activision Blizzard is greedy, like really greedy. They put people like Scrooge McDuck to shame with how much money hungry these executives are over there. But where Activision's Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is serving up a piping hot plate of microtransaction madness, it's kind of gotten to the point of parody now. And Steam is finally stepping in to say, hold up, you can't lie to your customers anymore, and how Steam is going to war with Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, games have gotten to the point where they're more like a store simulator with kind of a first-person game attached to it.
And hopefully the rest of the industry to stop this incoming invasion and could maybe, hopefully, sway the tides of this monstrous, thunderous crash of greed that is set to consume all of modern gaming in the process. So let's start with Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Released in October 2024, this Treyarch and Raven Software joint is a spy thriller set in the early 90s, complete with a mind-bending campaign, slick multiplayer, and a zombies mode that's got us all screaming pack-a-punch at 3 a.m. And the big selling point of it all is omni movement. You can now sprint, dive, and slide in any direction, making you feel like John Wick if John Wick was stuck in a Nuketown 24/7 lobby with sweaty tryhards. And critics are calling the game a return to form. I hate that term, but they are saying that, with VG247 saying that it's the most confident.
If I hear return to form from anybody, I automatically assume that the game is now woke, which Call of Duty is. I heard it from Ubisoft, or about Ubisoft, the people who made Avowed and Outer Worlds, Dragon Age, come on, man. And none of those things were return to form. More like return to the dirt, because they're all dying.
Call of Duty in years, and I'll give credit where it's due. The gunplay is buttery smooth, the maps are solid for the most part, and the campaign's got more twists than an M. Night Shyamalan fever dream. But here's the catch: Activision's monetization is like the zombie horde. It's relentless, shameless, and coming for your wallet no matter what you do. And then you enter the Black Cell Battle Pass, which has store bundles that cost more than a steak dinner, and a progression system that feels like it's laughing at you while you grind. And now, Steam's had enough of Activision's shenanigans and they're holding them accountable, finally. One of the ways that Black Ops 6 swindles you into spending money is actually creative, I gotta admit. So Activision Blizzard has implemented a system into Black Ops 6 where when a player with a cool loadout or skin beats you in a game, that during the kill cam you're able to actually save their loadout. And no, I'm not kidding.
That's really cool, actually. That would have been really cool back in the days of Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1, where you could save somebody's loadout and then use it later. But no, that's not what they're doing here. They're wanting you to save their loadout so you can just buy it with money. And I could totally imagine that being a really cool mechanic in a game if they didn't tie it to real money.
Here's this article from Discover.tv titled "Call of Duty Players May Now Wishlist Black Ops 6 Weapon Designs Via Killcam." The gist of this system is that Activision Blizzard has implemented systems years in the making to make you, the player, jealous of what other players are using. This is the actual reason why there's kill cams in the game still. Sure, you could argue it's meant because you're able to see how you messed up, or find out where your enemy is shooting you from so you can circle back in your respawn and then hunt them down. But the real reason is to show you those slick weapons other players bought, and then showcase them to you, the player, to entice you into buying that very weapon bundle yourself. You may think that I'm lying, and Lord knows I wish I was, but sadly I have the proof to show it to you. As seen.
So this is basically them putting microtransactions straight into the gameplay. Even while you're in a match, you can't stop thinking about what you could possibly be purchasing off of the store. When will they implement in-game currency straight into the matches, and where you could just copy somebody's loadout right there and use it for real money?
Here from this post from Charlie Intel, in the bottom right of this image, you can see how you can hold down Y on your controller to wishlist the blueprint of the weapon that just ended you in Black Ops 6 multiplayer. This is designed to entice you, the player, who doesn't have this blueprint, to want the same gun that the other player is using to end you likely multiple times in that match. And actually, the more that you die to that player with their unique store bundle blueprint, that's actually by design in Activision Blizzard's eyes. Because by you dying over and over again, well, that also means you're going to be staring at that kill cam quite often, won't you? And it's also by design that Activision Blizzard ensures that you can see the very gun and its name that killed you alongside the attachments and the shiny beautiful skin on the gun that did it in motion. Ooh.
Actually, the reason that you're losing is not because you're bad at the game. It's because you haven't purchased this loadout yet. This sounds very, very easy to manipulate.
Ooh, look at that gun. Isn't it a nice looking gun? Don't you wish you had that gun for yourself?
Yes, I do. I want it. How much is it? 349 COD points? Oh man, I've only got 299 right now. You're saying that I can only buy 100 at a time? Well, looks like I'm gonna have some left over. Ah, I almost got enough for this other thing. I'm gonna go ahead and buy 100 more.
Then maybe you could be the one shooting others effortlessly with your very own custom gun that has specific attachments that makes that gun a beast to use in the first place. Oh, if only you had some money on you right now. What's that? Your credit card is attached to your account? Well, dear customer, how would you like to know by a simple button press we can save that gun that just killed you, and then you can get portaled over to the store to buy the very gun with the very attachments and the skins that the other players was just using to ruin your fun with. And
you know that they wanted to have this in the middle of the match where you could just buy the loadout. You know it. But somebody was like, no, this is too far. We're going too far. People are going to be very mad at this. If we just make it to where they can wish list it, they'll only be kind of mad. And not enough people will be mad for them to stop playing.
And boom, just like that, Activision Blizzard just secured themselves another $10 to maybe $20 because they effectively monopolized not only your fear of lowering your kill-death ratio, but your fear of missing out too. I want to do well in Call of Duty as well. It's only $15. I mean, it can't hurt that much, can it? Oh, and I can use that gun bundle in Warzone. Well, maybe if I use that gun bundle, I can win some Battle Royale matches too. Yeah, that'll show my enemies how good I am at the game. Yeah, you know what? I am gonna buy this bundle now. And now the player who was dying with their dinky non-store bundle gun is now playing the game shooting and killing other players with their shiny new bundle gun instead, showing off that brand spanking new death machine to other players now who too are not.
Wouldn't it be better, cooler, more awesome if you're a player who has never bought anything off the store and you just take what you get and learn how to use it and become good with that? There's probably going to be an anime that's like that eventually, if there's not already one.
Spending money to buy bundles. And if you think about it, in a way, as dystopian as it sounds, every time you pull the trigger in Call of Duty now, you're technically advertising for Activision Blizzard for every kill that you get. And now every other user that gets ended by you gets to see your loadout and your unique skin that you spent your hard-earned money on too. So in a way, every match of Black Ops 6 isn't really about who's the better team. That doesn't matter to Activision Blizzard anyway, because the teams you're fighting are usually already paired with you due to your skill levels anyways.
Or they're just straight up bots. At least that used to be the case. I don't know if they've fixed it by now, but when I was playing like COD Mobile, half the players in that are bots. Probably because there's not enough people to actually make up the teams. Somehow COD Mobile is worse with its microtransactions than this, but at least it was free.
And we already know that games like this, Marvel Rivals and more, all use skill-based matchmaking to make this happen, which is designed to ensure that your win-loss ratio hovers perfectly around the 50-50 rate almost all of the time. Notice how whenever you're doing well in a multiplayer game these days, the lobbies tend to get harder and sweatier every single time you win. You start the day feeling normal, but suddenly you're in a match with the unemployed Monster Energy drinkers, and now you're getting curb stomped like you're an extra in American History X. Yeah, guys, it's all...
Yeah, skill-based matchmaking was one of the worst things to happen to multiplayer games. That's pretty much why I dipped out and stopped playing online multiplayer games. I like it to be random. I don't like to know that, oh, I just did really well in this match. Actually, I did better in this match than I have in a very long time. I got 50 kills, no deaths. That's insane. These people in this lobby must be like straight up beginners. And then if that happens, I know the next match is going to be the sweatiest match that I've ever played. And I'm going to get no kills. And they're going to be like, oh, well, we need to put him in a match with beginners because he's at beginner level. He got 0 kills. And then I get 50 kills, no deaths. And the cycle continues.
All done by design, just like everything else in these sorts of multiplayer games, to keep you winning just enough so that you don't leave or refund the game, but losing just enough too so that the other people playing don't leave either. And you're all shooting and competing against one another, each with your own unique weapon loadouts, sometimes with unique skins or store bundles that you bought, and suddenly you realize in a cynical but realistic way that this isn't really a game of skill anymore, is it? No, instead it's a game of advertisement more than anything, and all of you are poster boys, girls, and they themers just running around showing each other your guns that you bought or maybe your skins for your characters too.
I don't know if this is a thing, but I could totally see it being a thing that if you don't buy anything off the storefront ever, they stop giving you good matches. I could see them doing this because they don't want people who aren't buying things to be playing their game. They want you to be buying things, so they make everything terrible for you. And then if you buy stuff, they give you slightly better odds for good matches. I don't know if they're doing this, but it sounds like a very good idea, and it sounds like that could be something that they're doing.
And in actuality, the match itself doesn't really matter. It's just a sham. It's an excuse for you all to be there. Instead, it's one big advertising pool. Even Marvel Rivals is like this too. Why do you think the game is in third person? Why? Because it's easier to see your opponents? Come on, don't be dumb. It's because the studios behind these games want you and your enemies to see each other's skins. Oh, that guy has that skin I was contemplating on buying but didn't. Maybe I should buy it. I mean, it does look good in game when he's moving.
Yeah, big difference though is Marvel Rivals is free. Black Ops 6, not free. Actually, full price. Every Call of Duty is full price. Even Black Ops 1 is full price.
Am I being too cynical here? Actually, not at all, because unfortunately, it gets worse. This brings me to the US patent aptly named US 20160005270A1 as you're seeing on screen here. That's a long name, so I'm just going to call this patent the Bamboozler if you don't mind. So the Bamboozler is a patent that, as it's described here, it's a system and method is provided that drives microtransactions in multiplayer video games. The system may include a microtransaction arrange matches to influence game-related purchases. For instance, the system may match a more expert marquee player with a junior player to encourage the junior player to make game-related purchases of items possessed used by the marquee player. A junior player may wish to emulate the marquee player by obtaining weapons or other items used by the marquee players.
Is that not kind of what I said? Where they manipulate matches to get you to buy stuff? They give you better odds, or worse odds in this case. Apparently they match you up against somebody who's just absolutely devastating and has like the best skins. So they are manipulating. So they are 100% manipulating the fact that there are people not buying anything off the store, so they're just getting worse matches. 100% they're doing that.
So you probably thought, hey, I think he's lying, but nah, son, it's a legit US patent that actually exists in the real world that was patented and is being used at Activision Blizzard in stuff like Call of Duty's Black Ops 6 right now. So this is real, fellas. I'll leave a link in the description box to this patent in case you want to look it over yourselves. And here's an image on screen of the actual layout of how this entire patent works within a video game. Let me read you more about this patent here. Here's another excerpt which says, a computer implemented method of driving microtransactions in a multiplayer game. The method being implemented by a host computer having one or more physical processors programmed with computer program instructions that, when executed by one or more physical processors, causes the host computer to perform the method. The method comprising identifying by the host computer as in-game item that is relevant to a first player but not yet possessed by the first player for gameplay in a multiplayer game. Identifying by the host computer a second player that possesses the in-game item and matching by the host computer the first player and the second player to play in a gameplay session. To encourage purchase of the in-game item by the first player wherein the matching is based on the relevance of the in-game item to the first player and the possession of the in-game item by the second player.
That's actually disgusting. That is one of the worst, greediest moves I've ever heard a video game company implementing. That is insane. How is this allowed? You're actually manipulating people into buying things, which I get that's what ads are, but should we be having things like this in full price games? That's basically an ad. That's an in-game ad.
So this means it is not by accident that people beating you and killing you in something like Black Ops 6 happen to have all the shiny good-looking guns that you don't have yourselves, and there is now verifiable proof that Activision Blizzard is 100% pairing you with players specifically that spend real-world money on cosmetic bundles that you don't already own.
And the more you don't buy stuff, the more it pairs you with people who have things that you don't have. So if you don't buy stuff, you're probably gonna have a worse time. Maybe that's why I fucking hate these games. Because they're all bullshit. And it's not because I don't like first-person shooters. I love first-person shooters. But I end up always going to these, like, retro games. Like the old Call of Duty games whenever they're not full of hackers.
It's only being done for the reason to gaslight and swindle you into opening your wallet yourselves to buy it instead. And then once you buy it in the shop and get a new skin or gun, you have now become that marquee player, so to speak, who is being forced now into lobbies without you even realizing it to advertise your purchase to other players that were just like you mere minutes ago before you bought that bundle. Like I said, guys, I wish I was kidding, but this is a real patented system that exists and operates within Black Ops 6, and clearly not enough people know about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're implementing this to some degree in other games too. Like, I'm not 100% sure if other companies also use this patent, or maybe pay Activision Blizzard to use it. No idea as of right now, but at this point, I really wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, no, 100%. They're using this in other games. Probably every Activision game is using this.
If that were the case as well, because credit where it's due. From a monetization live service angle, yeah, this is kind of genius of them to do. And the workers making you the money are technically the very people who paid you for the game they're playing to push your microtransactions onto other players. It's like the self-checkout of a grocery store, but in video game form. You pick your groceries, you wait in line, you check yourself out, you pay us, then you get the hell out of the store. It's kind of genius, and you didn't even really have to pay anyone a cent to make that money for you there besides the people, I guess, who stock the shelves. And this is the system that is all over Call of Duty and then some, replicating and improving over time, ensuring that every player is being dumped into lobbies to push further advertising. Is it morally gross? Absolutely. But is it effective in making money? Also absolutely. But this is when Steam's new policies are the hero that we didn't know we needed. So in 2024, they started cracking down on publishers like Activision Blizzard, forcing them to be transparent about in-game purchases and refund rights. No more hiding behind vague "you bought it, tough luck" nonsense. If Activision's Black Cell Battle Pass or that shiny $20 skin doesn't deliver as promised, Steam's got your back with clearer refund paths. This comes after years of COD players complaining about misleading bundle descriptions. Remember when Modern Warfare 3 tried to sell us an $80 beast glove? Yeah, that was a vibe check that nobody passed.
Wait, okay, he's talking about the new Modern Warfare 3. I was like, I don't remember that being a thing in the original Modern Warfare 3, or it didn't even have microtransactions, did it? No, it didn't. It had DLC. And it was also the first time a Call of Duty game got achievements added whenever there was a new DLC. I got all the achievements from Modern Warfare 3, and then the DLC dropped, and there were more achievements, and I didn't even try.
Activision support pages are also now littered with warnings about chat sessions and case closures. Like they're bracing for a tsunami of refund requests. They're even having to address bugs like the Gumball Ballistics blueprint blocking aim visibility.
I just realized the whole DLC thing that I just said was also a manipulation by Activision. Oh, you got all the achievements? Well, the DLC has more achievements, so if you want to complete those achievements, you're just gonna have to buy the DLC, Mr. Achievement Hunter. Because I used to be one of those. Not from the YouTube channel Achievement Hunter. I was just, yeah, you know.
Because nothing says premium like paying to not see your target. Steam's basically saying to them, tell the truth or we're sending you to the gulag. And honestly, it's about damn time.
You know, the monetization of Activision games over the years just gets worse and worse and worse. It started with that whole DLC achievements thing. And then it moved on to so much DLC. Then it moved on to, oh, we're gonna put in skins. And now here we are, where they're straight up manipulating games based on what skins you have or don't have. It's just been getting worse and worse and worse since it started. What is the future gonna look like for these games? They're gonna have to make it to like a good balance to where it doesn't piss too many people off where they just stop playing.
Steam and Valve by proxy has effectively waged war on ensuring that companies like Activision Blizzard are no longer allowed to just lie or swindle players for their money, and they're pissed, Activision I mean. Here's what Steam issued as a statement following the misleading use of stuff like artificial intelligence to sell content and swindle players, and yeah, what's said here is a declaration of war, and it reads, back in June we shared that while our goal continues to be shipping as many games as possible on Steam, we needed some time to learn about the fast-moving and legally murky space of AI technology, specifically given Steam's worldwide reach. Today, after spending the last few months learning more about this space and talking with game developers, we are making changes to how we handle games that use AI technology. This will enable us to release the vast majority of games that use it. First, we are updating the content survey that developers fill out when submitting to Steam. The survey now includes a new AI disclosure section where you'll need to describe how you are using AI in the development and execution of your game. It separates AI usage in games into two broad category. One, pre-generated any kind of content created with the help of AI tools during development under the Steam distribution agreement. You promise Valve that your game will not include illegal or infringing content and that your game will be consistent with your marketing materials. In our pre-release review, we will evaluate the output of AI generated content in your game the same way we evaluate all non-AI content, including a check that your game meets those promises.
So like, what if you use AI to generate a rough asset and then build upon that asset? Does that count? I don't think that counts. I think that counts as your own artwork. As in, like, you generate a sprite model, paint it white, whatever, and then paint on top over it. Would that still count as AI generated or no? I don't know. Leave it down there in the comments if you know.
And 2, live generated, any kind of content created with the help of AI tools while the game is running, in addition to following the same rules as pre-generated AI content. This comes with an additional requirement in the content survey. You'll need to tell us all what kind of guardrails you're putting on your AI to ensure it's not generating illegal content.
Yeah, right? You don't want your Call of Duty game that's using AI everywhere just to get hacked and a bunch of cheese pizza, if you know what I mean, gets implemented into the game. You don't want that. Nobody wants that.
So, the gist of this update ensures that if companies use
Some people want that.
AI to make their games or swindle their customers, this must be said publicly to not only Valve, but also the customers who buy the games. This is being done to not only protect users and their rights, but also to keep these companies accountable for their very obvious scummy actions. But even despite this update, it still took Activision Blizzard a very long time to finally admit that they were indeed using AI to create assets in their game, as this article from IGN reads. Activision finally admits it uses generative AI for some Call of Duty Black Ops 6 assets after backlash following AI slop Zombie Santa loading screen. So in case you're unaware, Activision Blizzard got into hot water when they released a loading screen for Black Ops 6 during the Christmas season, where they had a zombie and Santa clothes, yet if you look at the loading screen in question here on screen, you'll notice that this zombie Santa has not 5 but 6 whole fingers on his right hand there.
How did this get past anybody? How did this get past the safeguards, the guardrails for like quality assurance and things? Did you not notice that it's got 5 fingers, or did they just shit this out there? No, I know the answer. They just shit it out. They were like, yeah, it looks good enough. Let's do it. Implement it as fast as possible.
The fact this sort of content got past Activision Blizzard's content quality team is kind of insane, but it also proves how low the bar of quality comes with these sorts of gameplay experiences too these days, because they make so much money so often that I wouldn't be surprised if future Call of Duty games start using AI in an alarming degree to create as much content slop as possible to meet their future demands.
Yeah, because they want to make the most money with as little work as possible. The least amount of work that I could think of is to generate an AI image of a zombie Santa, just a flat image, and implement it. It should have taken 2 minutes to figure out that was bad.
But all this will really do is pull from what they've already made, since AI cannot technically make something wholly original itself, meaning potentially that future Call of Duty games will have even worse implementations like this and not better. And Activision knows people will buy anything they sell as long as it's shiny enough and has the name Call of Duty attached to it, since when your $30 Black Cell Battle Pass promises over 7,000 COD points worth of items, but half of it is just reskinned calling cards.
He says that people will keep buying Call of Duty. But that's not entirely true. There will be some people out there, but eventually, if they keep fucking up, people won't buy it. They'll move on. Because it was happening whenever they did all the futuristic Call of Duty stuff. It was dying out very quickly. People weren't buying it. People were buying it, but not like they are. People started buying again as soon as they stopped doing the future stuff.
It's no wonder why Valve had to go to war with them to regulate this behavior, because Steam's not here for your corporate fanfiction. And speaking of Black Cell, let's dive into that shiny overpriced black and gold trap now too while we're at it. The Black Cell Battle Pass is like if a regular Battle Pass went to a country club and came back with a superiority complex. For $30, real money, not COD points, you get exclusive skins, weapon blueprints, and 1,100 COD points back. Season 3's got stuff like the R073, which is a cyber ninja with a dog, and animated skins for operators like Mason Hudson. Sounds cool, right? But here's the math. The standard battle pass is $10, and Black Cell's extra goodies are mostly cosmetic. Unless you're a whale who needs your XM4 gun to have magma tracers, it's really hard to justify dropping about $30 every season. Oh, and get this, Black Cell's got a loyalty program too. Buy in multiple seasons and you get a 50% XP boost too. That's right, Activision's rewarding you for being a loyal ATM for them on the regular by doing this. Meanwhile, the replacer bundle costs controversy had players fuming because you needed Black Cell before buying the $20 replacement skin to unlock its variant. That's $50 pretty much for 2 skins in the game. I've bought entire games for less than that. Like, how can we justify this level of corporate greed in the year that is 2025? Think about it, guys. If you wanted to buy the replacer skin and its variants, you're basically paying equivalent to the same price that it is for Clair Obscur Expedition 33, a whole game made by talented devs. And
Well, you see, we get to this point when we have people who don't actually play video games, who play Call of Duty and Fortnite, and don't play anything else. When all you see is storefronts, microtransactions, and ads, and that's all you see, it doesn't matter to you. To you, every game has stuff like this, and it's not a problem. That's just what we have to keep these games afloat, to keep these devs making games. We have to have all these microtransactions and storefronts, because we wouldn't have all these big, high-budget games without it. And then they spend $300 million on a game that completely flops. So really, what does it cost? What does it cost?
you tell me, and justify it as well, how 2 skins for virtual guns are somehow equivalent in value to an entire video game made by developers like Clair Obscur. You genuinely cannot defend this sort of practice. And it's why Valve and Steam have had to stop Activision Blizzard to some capacity by issuing this declaration of war to them.
But Endymion, Steam, how are they gonna make Diablo 5 if they don't charge $50 for 2 skins in Call of Duty? They wouldn't be able to make Diablo 5, which also has its own microtransactions and storefronts in Diablo 4, you know? It's like they charge all this money for these stupid things that used to be in games to justify, oh, it's to keep the game afloat, and then they use that money to build games that have the same kind of storefronts in them. So they can use that to justify making another game exactly like that with a storefront in it. And it's just like, if you're paying all this money to put these storefronts in these games, just remove the storefronts. I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. So, I'm just not going to play these games.
Because this system that they've implemented from ensuring you only play with people who have cosmetic bundles bought if you haven't already is predatory. There's no defending it. And Activision's out here charging us for the pizza and the toppings now, and then telling us that the crust is
Fables, if you're not playing the games, then why do you care? What's the problem? Well, it doesn't stop with this. Just because they put it in Call of Duty doesn't mean that they're not going to put it in other games. And if they put it in other games, then other big companies see that and they're like, we're going to put it in our big games. And then other companies see that, we're going to put it in our big games. And eventually they all have them. And look where we are now. They do. They all have them.
somehow exclusive. So if you're a hardcore Warzone grinder, maybe Black Cell's worth it for the drip, but for the rest of us, I would say stick to the free tier and save your cash for something that doesn't vanish when Season 4 inevitably drops. And that's the other big problem with Call of Duty, which is that every single year this entire cycle just repeats itself again and again like it always does. And in a way, it's the perfect get out of jail free card for Activision Blizzard too. Because in a way, since every game technically only has a 1-year shelf life, meaning all the grinding and such I guess if you use it in Warzone, but besides that, it becomes basically meaningless, immediately gets replaced by next year's game because the same people will buy that too. And now they're grinding new battle passes, new Black Cell-like systems, and getting new guns and attachments too. And
what's gonna happen when Warzone finally gets shut down, when they come out with like Warzone the remake or Warzone 3 or whatever it's gonna be, or Black Zone? They just come out with something completely new and they shut down all of this, and then they'll be like, well, the game was free. You definitely didn't pay money to own it, so we're gonna shut it down. There's nothing you can do about it. Remember the crew? This is worse than that. Oh, you bought things in this game? Well, you can keep the things you bought, but you won't be able to use them because the servers don't work. You can look at them. You can look at them in the menu.
in a way, this also allows Activision Blizzard to effectively start every year of their controversial game series with a blank slate as soon as a new game releases. Meaning that any bad blood or complaints users might have here are suddenly just washed away, because that was Black Ops, guys. This is Modern Warfare now. And trust me, bro, this is the year that Activision Blizzard changes their ways. I just know it. And then the same things happen year after year, again and again. You're thrown into another lobby without realizing it, where everyone that's killing you has schmexy looking skins for their guns or cool random operator skins that stick out like sore thumbs that you don't have. For an example, did you know that Black Ops 6 has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bundle? Oh boy, I love the Ninja Turtles. I want to be a turtle in Call of Duty.
$50. I'm gonna take a guess, $50.
Okay, cool, just pay us, and no, I'm sadly not kidding either, almost $100 freaking dollars.
Holy shit. I thought $50 was too much. Almost $100. They're fucking insane.
For those skins alone. As seen here from thegamer.com, that Ninja Turtles crossover alone will set you back more than the entire base Black Ops 6 experience if you want all of that content. One user on Reddit, as seen here, calculated it would cost you roughly $800 American to buy every single bundle available in Black Ops 6 within its only first 2 months of release. And
Yeah, I was about to say, for now it costs $800 to get everything. We're still at the beginnings of this game. We're still going to be seeing all kinds of new stuff implemented all the way until November.
Currently over half a year into its life cycle now, so that number is far greater now, I bet too. And that's not even the worst of it. As seen here as well, Activision Blizzard refuses to refund players who bought a bundle in Black Ops 6 called the I Dead bundle, despite the bundle, according to players, turning the weapons in the bundle completely unusable in-game. Apparently this bundle has effects on it that blocks your vision while aiming down sights with a gun, meaning that you can't shoot straight and oftentimes miss your shots using the unique skins and effects this I Dead bundle offers. But Activision Blizzard just went, no, we're not refunding you. You bought it, it's yours now, not our problem anymore. And how can a company like this exist and operate the way that they are? It's no wonder that Steam and Valve by proxy have been in a war with Activision Blizzard to try to force this scummy company to not screw over their players. I guarantee you, if Activision Blizzard had a magical button that gave them $100 every time it was pressed, but in return, one person would die in the world at random that wasn't them, obviously.
You know who could have fixed this issue? You know who's actually behind this? Microsoft. They know about it. They knew it happened. They're not doing anything about it. They're fighting Steam on it.
They would have trained monkeys slapping that button every single second like their lives depended on it, because these people don't care at all is what I'm saying. And not only does Activision Blizzard not care about refunding you or rewarding your time in game, they also don't really care about implementing proper anti-cheat software into their billion-dollar franchise either. And it's no wonder, as this article here states, that Black Ops 6 has already lost well over 50% of its player base within the first 2 months of release. And yeah, I don't blame people for wanting to walk away when the people at the top saying how these games should be made are doing nothing but pushing overpriced microtransactions like the Ninja Turtle ones, preying on your nostalgia and fandom. Like, dude, that Ninja Turtles crossover is basically the price of 2 copies of Claire Obscure. They can't be serious. Fortnite has a Ninja Turtles crossover bundle too, but it's nowhere near $90 American to buy at least. And Fortnite, I guess, also allows you to use all of your skins seemingly for the rest of time in any game made. But Call of Duty, if you ask me, is somehow the most backwards game.
Fortnite is probably the best example of a game that has a storefront, but it's for kids, so I don't think that it should have a storefront. I think that's very, very scummy still. But it's one of the least scummy free-to-play games, free-to-play style games. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, not free-to-play style game, and it should be free-to-play. And it'll never be free-to-play. Fortnite will always be free-to-play. And you'll always probably be able to keep all of your stuff that you bought in-game, because I think even if Fortnite 2 comes out, that it's just going to be Fortnite 1, but upgraded. So I think you'll be able to keep everything. Not with Activision. Activision's scummy. Activision's shit.
That also, despite its repeated failings, just continues to make billions of dollars regardless, as if the people who buy these games every year and buy cosmetic packs have some sort of spell over them that just wipes their memory of the problems as soon as the next game gets announced. None of it is okay. We shouldn't be supporting these sorts of things, and I am glad that Valve has forced Activision Blizzard to be truthful to their players, but I frankly don't know if it will even be enough to keep such a corrupted company accountable in the future. Because if their latest game, despite the controversy, makes something like $600 million in a single day on market, these types of companies will not care no matter how much heat they get in the future, because people will still buy and engage with the franchise, because at the core of it, despite their overpriced bundles and cheaters or lobbies designed to sell you cosmetics, they're still making far too much money to not keep pushing this grift every single year like they already do. I genuinely can't believe that they're actually releasing a new Call of Duty every single year since the original Modern Warfare, pretty much. That's almost 20 years straight of Call of Duty releases non-stop, and yet they continue to make absolute bank while offering nothing but vapid experiences that will just keep treating you like an ATM. I would hope a video like this will make others think twice before hitting purchase next time, but sadly I kinda doubt it, because Call of Duty is so ingrained in the cultural zeitgeist that to believe people will not buy the next Call of Duty despite these issues is still very unlikely. But
yeah, they keep screwing up. You know what's gonna happen? We're gonna get a Call of Duty competitor, an actual one. We haven't had one in a long time, other than games that also are very scummy with their microtransactions, like Counter-Strike Go or Counter-Strike 2, whatever you want to call it. Basically is just a gambling machine. I think we'll get something that has no storefront, that's not going to be free to play, might cost $40, and it's going to be like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1 style online gameplay with progression similar, with some modernized tools, probably be able to make clip art like in Black Ops 1. Remember when that was a thing?
when Activision store bundles are like the Gucci of gaming, overpriced, flashy, and nobody really needs them, people will still buy them for the simple reason to flex on other players as if any of this even matters. It's not just $90 Ninja Turtle bundles either. The Terminator bundle in Season 2 has T-800 and Endo titanium skins, plus Red Tracer blueprints for another pretty chunk of change, and Season 3's got Jay and Silent Bob. Because imagine wanting to pay money unironically to play as Kevin Smith in a video game. Couldn't be me, dude. These bundles don't affect gameplay, but when you're charging $80 for cosmetics in a $70 game,
not gonna lie, when I was like 15, I was in love with Kevin Smith movies. I loved Clerks, I loved Mallrats, I loved Dogma, I loved them all. So if this was out when I was like 15 years old, I probably would have bought Jay and Silent Bob skins. I probably would have played Black Ops 6 just because it had Jay and Silent Bob in it. Now, not doing that. I do not like Kevin Smith anymore. Mostly because of what he did to He-Man.
Players are going to rightfully ask, just make it free to play already. At least then it would soften the blow, because this is ridiculous at this point. Activision, I love pizza as much as the Turtles do, but I'm not going to sell my kidney for a turtle skin. The community's just fed up clearly, and this war that Valve is raging on Activision can, and will hopefully get more ironclad as time goes on. It doesn't really surprise me how in my previous video, I spoke on how the ex-Blizzard CEO Mike Ybarra was convinced that nobody would want to buy an Oblivion remaster. But let's be real, you can buy Oblivion remastered and clear Obscure for almost the same price as these freaking Ninja Turtle skins alone in Black Ops 6. The gross over...
No, you actually can, because you don't have to buy them at full price. There are online sales that you can find. You can probably get it for $90. You can get both those games for $90, or even cheaper than that. Just buy these games instead of buying these skins. You'll have a way better time.
Monetization of these companies is reaching levels I actually never thought were possible, and yet here we are anyways. The disgusting predatory behavior of Activision Blizzard must be called out, and couple this with Nintendo trying to will 80 or 90.
If it didn't work though, they wouldn't do it. They'd roll it back and not do it anymore if it didn't work. But eventually it's just gonna poison the whole thing, and it takes one thing for everybody to hop off. It's not a bunch of little things here and there. Those little things can be looked over. As soon as the actual core community of Call of Duty hates something, they'll hop off. Because if they just hate it a little bit, they'll roll it back. But unless it works. But eventually, they'll have too many things that just work, and people will be like, alright, I'm out. And it seems to be what's happening right now with losing 50% of their player base since launch. Didn't used to happen. Used to, it would maybe fall about 25%, and then it would ride that wave all the way until they'd get a bump in the player count just before a new Call of Duty, and then the new Call of Duty drops, and then repeat the cycle. All the way up until Ghosts came out. I think Call of Duty Ghosts really hit a turning point for Call of Duty, where they did some like weird alien stuff. They didn't like it. People didn't like it. I thought it was alright. What was the one after that? I don't think people like that one much either.
$90 games into existence now, and you tell me, where does this end? How can you justify $90 for cosmetics on a fully priced game? You can't. It's simply unsalvageable, and it's...
You know, they justify it by, if just 20 people bought this, that's $2,000. And I guarantee you, at least 100 people bought that bundle.
woefully anti-consumer in every single way. But there you have it. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 could have been a pro-consumer banger of a game, but instead, it, as always, is drowning in Activision's microtransaction swamp like every other release that they've made for years now. Steam's gonna try to hold them accountable, but Black Sale, $90 turtle bundles, and a grindy loadout systems are testing the patience of customers all over. When will it be enough? Did Valve go far enough keeping Activision Blizzard accountable, or should more be done? Let me know in the comments. But what do you think about all of this? Is Black Sale...
I'll let you know what I think about all of this. I think that reviews for games like these are moot. I think that there are no good reviews for this, because like it drops day one and it's perfect, everything works, and you see 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, return to form, and then over time they implement stuff and it gets worse and worse and worse, but still the review stays the same because it's the day one review. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, return to form. You damn right it's a return to form. Return to the form of the last game, and then implement more microtransactions, more in-game ads. Wouldn't that count as an in-game ad also, by the way, the whole wishlist thing, you wishlist the blueprints? Steam says you can't do that. That sounds like an ad to me. Why don't you buy a t-shirt down there in the description? They're my own designs. I worked hard on them. I'm out.